politicians say we just can't think. Kiwi cement and galvanize. Call we voting cattle and tell a heap of lies. So what we do? Get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okay, what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? Of course, we are closely looking at the Minister of Telecommunication, Transport, and Economic Affairs, and what else? TEATT, the Minister of Tourism, yes. Leo Lambrix. Now, of course, everybody was waiting to see what would be his first action. What would be the first thing he does in office, because that's where we get to see what type of minister he is and what type of, what's his style like. And of course, we get to find out that the first order of business for the new Minister of TEATT, Leo Lambrix, is putting the gas prices up. Yo! I swear to God, if I was the incoming minister and I take the oath on Wednesday, and then the first act is to raise the gas prices, I go in like, hey, listen, Omar, you forget to sign this. You forget to sign this. Can you sign this, please? Please sign this, Omar, please. Because that would not be my first act. No. But at least we get to see which party the minister will be running in the upcoming elections, because the gas price has gone up. That had to be the brumch. We don't have that sound effect. We can't afford that. Brumch. No? Okay, that's okay. Anyway, so I guess he's running with the up because the gas price has gone up. What else is happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? The tallest member of parliament, Rolando Brison, hosted a family fun barbecue for the residents of Dutch Quarter on Sunday. And things went a little bit left when they had a drag racing competition and somebody got hurt. And as you can see in the video, the drag racing started, and then afterwards, boom, somebody on the ground. From what I understand, it's a practice that happens very frequently. French Quarter, Dutch Quarter, Soccer Garden, different districts do these type of, friendly races all the time. But what are the chances of having a member of parliament there present, standing on the side looking like, I hope they don't get to blame this on me. I just hope they don't get to blame this on me. You see? You see him? I know it's hard to see because he's short, but yes, that's MP Brison, So I guess the next time you go to a barbecue family fun day with the MP, make sure you wear a helmet, because you never know what's going to happen at that event. Also, the Princess Juliana International Airport continues to be a sinking ship. Reason why I say that is because the head of the supervisory board has resigned. Ooh, my poor knees. Two members of the board have resigned. Now we're up to like 4 or 3 resignations from the airport. And of course, who's to blame? We don't know. People are jumping off the ship. And now we have a skeleton supervisory board at the Princess Juliana International Airport. I think that the Minister of TEATT has a very tough road ahead when it comes to the airport, because he has no supervisory board to deal with, So we're going to have to go through a whole appointment of new supervisory board members, and who's on the holding board and who's on the supervisory board. I don't know. I keep in the faith, hopefully something positive will come out of, all these resignations. But let's just wait and see. We just follow the news here. All right. Today on the show, we have the Honorable Minister of VROMI, Egbert Doran. We talked about a bunch of important things. And we also talk about his political future. So make sure you stick with the late night as we begin.
You know, along the real bad man, them want dance and can't dance. How comes? Yeah, I ding dong, I will say everything I went up the floor. I will say dancers, hello, ravers, clavers, everything alright. Hear this, when I like it, don't pull up. So I sing, say, bad man forward, bad man pull up. Bad man forward, bad man pull up. Bad man forward, bad man pull up. Bad man pull up, bad man pull up. Bad man forward, bad man forward.
Late Night Show with Andrew Dick. Welcome back. It is time for our interview on this wonderful Monday. And of course, we had to start off the Monday with a very special guest. And, I've been trying to get him on late night for quite some time, but he's here finally. And that is, of course, the one, the only, the Honorable Minister of VROMI and the Deputy Prime Minister of St. Martin, Mr. Sharendi Egbert Doran? Or Doran Egbert Sharendi Doran. Listen.
Whichever one,
right?
About.
Yes. Minister Doran, thank you so much for coming on late night.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a while indeed.
It's been a while, yeah.
Finally get it going.
Yeah, last time you was here was election time.
I think so.
Yeah, that was like 3.5 years ago. Yeah.
I think before, man. Come on. I came after that, man. But you know what they say? Nothing happens before its time.
Yes.
So that's important.
Quite a lot has been going on within the ministry. Of course, we're going to touch on a little bit of everything. Let me start off with, of course, the road network.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, social media has been ablaze with the fact that, that the road patching is taking place because the royal family is coming. However, they forgot that you've been mentioning since December that some works would start in the second week of January.
Yeah, actually way before December, because the bid took place in the ending of last year. Mm-hmm. The contracts were signed in December to start the road resurfacing in general, but the road patching is something that never stops, it's continuous. So that's 24/7. The only time that stops is when we don't have supply.
Oh, okay.
And that is done by the staff, internal staff of the Ministry of VROMI itself.
Okay.
So that is something that is all around year continuous. That's not something that starts or stops. Okay. And also, indeed, as you mentioned, I did mention that the road resurfacing will take place in the second week of January. As you know, construction and construction-like companies go on what they call a bow vacancy. And they're all kicking off this week.
Okay. Now, the resurfacing, because, it's been bad. I know that you are being blamed for the rain. You being blamed for the sun, the rain. Whenever a hole comes somewhere, it's the Minister of VROMI fault. So, your overall plan for the resurfacing, what would it entail?
Well, the overall plan for the resurfacing has to do with, of course, prioritization. The reason I use the word prioritization because you have a certain amount of budget, but the money that is required to do a full blast resurfacing as to what we need by far supersedes the amount of money that is available. That is just the reality of it. The budget is in the range of 2-point-something million. Based on the preliminary roads that we, identified internally last year, we were already on 3.5 million going. So, therefore, it's a matter of prioritization, actually. As I mentioned last week on the interview, that we will be starting in the Coal Bay area, where some critical areas need attention, and of course, it will be published, and the public will be made aware of that. We had to start with Arch Road weekend on Sunday. We're going to close the road, etc., but due to the unforeseen weather, that
so the weather
was
so the weather wasn't your fault.
No, the weather wasn't my fault on Sunday.
Okay.
And so we'll just have to reschedule that and let the road users know when that will take place. But Arch Road in particular, there's a lot of issues in the middle of the road, so you can't block one side and continue. You just have to really shut down for a down period, and you don't want to inconvenience workers and road users as well. So we have to plan that good. Hopefully by this Sunday, God's willing, we'll be able to schedule that in and have the entire road closed off for a particular time to have that works carried out.
Road signs are also, part of the road infrastructure.
Correct.
And also, you've also taken special interest in the eyesores of vehicles, old vehicles being parked all over on our 16 square miles. How's that been going? That project's been going?
Well, I must say that the cooperation between the Ministry of VROMI and Justice has been going very good. We started back those discussions a couple of weeks ago. There's a whole group chat set up, a sort of a task force, if you want to call it that. And they're working closely together in terms of clearing up the car wrecks. Now, when it comes to the abandoned, whether it be containers, chassis, and different things that you see alongside the road, that they're working on as well. And the notices that as I mentioned, I think it was about a week and a half ago when I mentioned that, to clear it up. And I must say that there's been great cooperation because without our involvement thus far, I would say about 60 to 70% of what was on the long side of the roadway we're referring to has been removed. Everything is not gone as yet, so we will do what we have to do with that as concerned.
And the whole private property versus public roads and them moving it into private property, is that been a hurdle also?
That is definitely a hurdle. And what I mentioned though, I just want to be for the record, everything that I reference is about things that are on public domain.
Okay.
So when I talk about removing it or we will remove it, I'm talking about public domain.
Okay.
But you know what's so interesting? I've had persons contact me and they talk about yes, but it's on private property. I mean, I think you should be a bit ashamed to say that because so you're going to move the garbage from public property to private property and think that the problem is solved. I think that we should,
It's supposed to be a combined effort.
It's a combined effort.
Yeah.
It's not me against you or them against you or anything like that. I mean, we live here. Whether you're born here, you came here, you make St. Martin your home. I mean, just take some pride in what we're doing and clean it up.
Yeah.
That is the only thing. So if you feel that by solving the problem, you're going to move it off the main road and put the garbage or the wreck or whatever have you on your private property, then, so be it. Unfortunately, if it's a roadside property, our tourists and our guests and even our citizens will have to deal with it, which is unfortunate, but yeah.
And the road sign situation?
With respect to road signs, we have a big amount of road signs right now in our possession then.
Okay.
And the road signs is something joint which we carry out with the traffic department. So they give the indication because it's all regulated via the Ministry of Justice as to where it has to go, but we actually do the physical labor in actually placing them. You see, so that's a sort of an interministerial something, but that is well on its way as well in terms of the working together with Justice to identify, okay, here's where the sign needs to go, and we're doing that.
All right. You see, so the affordable housing, as far you've done something at the Belvedere Housing Foundation area. In Belvedere, and I always found that you didn't get enough credit for it because I guess people like to focus more on the negative than the positive. But as far as being able to actually going to the homes, seeing the state that they were in, promising to fix it, and then you actually did.
Yep.
You actually did?
Yeah, indeed. And I must say that because that's not affordable as public. That's public housing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which is
public
actually the first title that I have because the ministry carries different titles. So public housing, Folks House Vesting is one of the biggest challenges that we have on St. Martin. We are full of challenges.
Yeah. There's
no ministry or minister that can say, hey, everything is perfect here.
Yeah.
We have challenges everywhere and challenges continue. Now, is the decisions and the steps that we take today to mitigate the future challenges for whoever is coming next or whoever is there now if they continue. With respect to Belvedere in particular, Belvedere has been a complaint for not now, but for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
More so after the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a member of parliament, one of the sticking points that I focused on a lot was the repairs in Belvedere, and also the repairs of the hurricane shelters, the shelters in general. And the shelters, we finished them over a year and a half ago. We did a tour by every single shelter. And now the 64 units that we started with in Belvedere, they're fully refurbished, fully brand new, fully renovated, all the bells and whistles that the tenants would want and need. So that is a great feeling. And as you mentioned, before, when it was a problem, it was an issue. I mentioned that I was going to
you went
work
on a tour. I remember
I
that.
went on a tour. I mentioned I was going to work on it. It was done, and now it's done. It's a great feeling, Andrew. It's something that I can't even describe it. One of the things that I even discussed with some of the, tenants last week when we were discussing, they say that, for leaving their homes for a while, and some of them coming back, some are new as well. They say that they're so happy, they're elated because, it's brand new.
Yeah.
So it's like those who moved in 98 or 99 when Belvedere was first established.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there. There's Block 37, which is in a very bad state as well. So I want to let the residents know, and also those that the residents of St. Martin, and also those that actually live in Belvedere know that the bug doesn't stop there. It will continue, but it goes to show that there's light at the end of the tunnel, because this is something that was promised and it's actually delivered.
It's been delivered.
One thing for sure, Andrew, I cannot go without mentioning the hard work of the staff of the Ministry of VROMI, as well as the support staff of the NRPB, the entire trust fund, and every stakeholder that had to do with this, because it's, I must say, sometimes we complain, and I complain about the timeline and how long things take when it has to do with the World Bank, but it is important to also give credit where credit is due for everyone that was involved in it. I mean, at the end of the day, as leaders, we give our vision, but there's a whole machinery behind that actually pushes to make it happen. And I just want to show my appreciation to those persons as well.
All right, but the Belvedere is one side, but they have also the emergency rooms, for example.
That are all over.
That are all over, particularly the Dutch Quarter. Any plans concerning fixing that area? Because I know it's caught up also with a bunch of private property.
Yes.
And a bunch of people don't know that, because people say, well, why not the emergency room, the streets and so on, but it's private property. But as far as the homes is concerned, any plans for that particular area?
What I can say, one of my, things that I wanted to do and want to do still, and I want to keep it at want to do still, is the infrastructure there is in a deplorable state.
Yeah.
The road as well as some of the homes. As you mentioned, there's a lot of issues with landowners. So I rather refrain from making any comments on that, because they might use it and so forth. However, I must say that you are not forgotten. I speak to the Housing Foundation on a regular basis on plans on how they can approach on repairing. They have been repairing the others. So those in the Keys were repaired. Those in Foga also were repaired. And of course, there are different complications. Those homes were emergency homes. Huh?
Yes, they were emergency
about
rooms.
Emergency homes that
had to be temporary
for over 2 decades.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving a brief synopsis of the integrity of the structures. Definitely going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest challenges with the Dutch Quarter side is the land ownership. The person's wanting back what is there. So
I just wanted to make sure that's also clear for the viewers, because some would say, but what about this place? Sticking to Dutch Quarter also, the road infrastructure there. It's been many campaign promises also by different political parties. But you being actually in the seat and knowing the situation, what is the hold-up, or what?
The entire Dutch Quarter sewage project?
Yes, please. Give us
let's just give it the raw, because that is in court as well.
Oh,
so I have to,
it is.
I have to mind how I go into that.
Okay.
But just my humble opinion, and I'm going to leave it at my humble opinion, because there's a lot of different things that are written on paper. I believe that the company that won the bid back then underbid severely, and they tried to basically squeeze government with extra hours and all those things. So the bills start to become very expensive.
Exorbitant,
There was always a back and forth in a DB. This is even before my time, because remember, the project stopped before my time, started back, stopped again right before I became Minister of VROMI, and then started back again. and then stopped again. So this is important for those that don't know the history behind it. However, they still have us in court trying to collect, and we had to sever our relationships with them. However, I'm not only here to talk about the problem, but also talk about the solution and the way forward.
Yes.
As we all know, when the road had a debt to pay to government with respect to the court verdict a couple of years ago, when I came into office, we prioritized that the FOGA pumping station, the FOGA infrastructure for the wastewater would have been installed. Also, Phillipsburg West in terms of the pumping station and Illich Road. While busy with that, we started with the FOGA and that was completed. This issue with Dutch Water was there. I sat with my team and we decided to take a different road. So reprioritize the tasks that Winter Road was going to do in terms of community service, so to speak. And we shifted towards Dutch Water.
Okay.
Right now, ending of last year, we received the final quotes to have the work done. We're still in, back and forth, trying to get the best interest of government so we could lower some of the costs. So that is in the final stages at the moment. And then it's about starting the work. So we're going to use the settlement from the one side with the verdict, so to speak.
Yeah.
Repair Dutch Water to a certain extent where it needs to be for us to kick back in with the European funds.
With the European. Okay, so there's a plan.
There's a plan.
There's a plan. It's not forgotten.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
I mean, Andrew, one thing I always say, and some people, you're gonna hear a lot of stories now. I mean, it's the time.
Yeah.
But I urge people to not only listen, but fact check things as well. I mean, Dutch Water was a district that supported me immensely. Belvedere as well, Sucker Garden as well, a lot of different areas. But whether you support me immensely and I work for the entire country, and I want to say that there's a lot of issues that we have and we face as a country, and I remain committed to fixing all that I can, how I can, with the resources that I have.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I always say this, and some people take it the wrong way, but so be it. There were those that mess up St. Martin in good times. And right now we have the pennies and we're pinching and we're still making it happen. And I always discuss and always cherish forward movement. And that's why I say this is the year 2023 for repositioning and forward movement, progress.
Projects, quite a number of projects have been announced by this government since your tenure. We haven't seen any movement in the projects, however. For example, the Planet Hollywood, you had some that did come through, what actually was materialized. But of course, I'm sure that it's all about priorities. And I don't know if investors maybe backed off, or is it just the way that based on the economy? I don't know.
One thing I can say, I'm glad that you asked that question actually, because one of the things that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago was that based on construction costs alone for 2022, so the estimated construction price for all the building permits from 2022 that was approved, we're now at approximately 250 million guilders. That's going into the economy. Now I want to reiterate, so not a 2020 permit or 2021 permit that was approved in 22. A permit that was requested in 22 and granted in 22. So if you add if you add those from 2021, it's even more. So there is appetite to invest here with respect to the specific project that you asked for. At the end of the day, we did what we had to do. We went to court. We had a whole issue back and forth.
Yeah.
We signed a good permit, so they have the good permit. We've been reaching out, asking them, hey, when you're going to start, because of course the economic spin-off that it has for the country is great. However, they haven't started as yet. I know that another meeting is scheduled very soon to follow up and ask them, what's the holdup basically. So, I mean, those things, we don't have control over when a developer starts. Just like if I give you a building permit, you start when you have the money.
You can't tell me when,
yeah. But one thing is for sure, especially with, and I'm going to reiterate, especially with big projects, as a government, we try to collectively form little mini task force so that because with these projects, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. Yeah. Whether it's something via finance or general affairs or even justice or VSI, even at times, we work together to schedule, hey, listen, you assign this person from your departments, I urge persons that have big plans and big projects to come in and speak with permit evaluators in advance so that you know most of the do's and
Could go
don'ts,
hand in hand.
so that we could save a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I must say that that has been functioning very, very well. There's a lot of appetite to invest here in St. Martin, and I must say that great things are to come. I mean, and I could say it, and some people boast it to me, but I'll just say it. I wouldn't boast about it. But under my tenureship as Minister of VROMI, we are just seeing the construction boom because COVID put us in a rut economically. But say to Andrew, St. Martin has been floating, and floating pretty decent in comparison to other countries within the region, other islands within the region, because the construction has been booming and has been moving forward and keep our country afloat. I must say that, and it is evident, so it's not what I say, but you can actually see it around you.
Yeah. Environment. Let me talk a little bit about that. I know you did some moves last year concerning the environment. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
One of the biggest accomplishments, I must say, with respect to the environment is the nature policy that we signed off last year. That was also published. And you have the spatial development vision. We have the spatial development vision that will be presented in Parliament this coming Wednesday. So there are a lot of things that we are working on, have worked on, and we're pushing it out now. And I must say that you can actually see the effectiveness of a consecutive term being in office.
Okay, yeah.
Because things that you started a year and a half ago or 2 years ago,
you could see through.
You're seeing the results now. And in the years to come, you will continue to see results, which is important when it comes to stability. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious. Things are moving. Of course, there are going to be complaints. No matter what you do, there are going to be issues. And you have to, you have to keep in mind that there are persons that have a problem for every solution as well.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, no matter how long they were in office, they will still find ways to find how you are doing it is not good enough. But I urge my colleagues, and we speak on a regular basis, keep pushing, keep motivated, and we'll definitely put St. Martin where it needs to be. There are difficult times, unprecedented times. There was never COVID before. We came out of Irma, and then COVID.
Yeah.
And St. Martin never really got a chance to catch itself. And not only St. Martin when it comes to Irma, but when it comes to COVID, there are places that still suffering immensely with the results of it, because it's still here.
Yeah.
Businesses that had to close down. We've seen it here as well with some businesses that have been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
They were forced to close their doors.
Your management style, and I wanted to talk about it because I've covered the numerous Parliament meetings where it comes into question on the way you manage VROMI, and maybe for persons to also understand that you decided to take a different approach to your predecessors. So how would you say your management style is?
Well, it's hard to really rate yourself, but I must say that
because
I've always, in my opinion, I've always remained open to change.
Okay.
When I say open to change, because
so not because it's been done so for the amount of years means you have to continue.
I don't like that sentence.
You don't like that at all.
That's how we used to do it.
That's how we used to do it. Yeah.
I don't have a problem if this is how we used to do it and it's working.
Yeah.
But if this is how we used to do it and it's not working, then we need to adjust a little bit, reposition.
Okay.
We need to reposition a little bit and adjust to see if something can work. We've tried different ways. I just give an example. With building permits, we install a task force that certain things weren't working out. We change it up a bit. We add this, subtract that. We're in different times, and I think you need to be creative in your way of thinking.
Adapt to the time.
Yes, and when it comes to my management style, the first thing I did when I became Minister of VROMI, I had a general meeting with all staff members, and then individually with the departments. And I said, listen, my door is always open. I have an open door policy. There's no staff member that can say that they tried to speak to me and I refused or didn't have a meeting with them. That is just impossible. It never happened. So they know that. If all choose to use it, I must say sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I wouldn't know. But I've always tried to make myself available because I know how it was as a citizen in general
to get to the person
to get to our
in charge.
representatives.
Yeah.
So I always try to make myself available within the ministry. We always have a lot of social events in terms of once a month or
Team
twice
building,
a month,
yeah.
team building events at the office. I mean, not the office, the VROMI yard, so to speak. Last end of the year, we had a sort of Thanksgiving family day.
Yeah, I saw you cooking.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was cooking,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, yes,
And everybody, so we had a cooking competition. The persons brought out their family. And I say that is something that I want to do on a yearly basis, you know. So these are different things because sometimes you're so boggled down with work, people are under stress. It have people still can't deal with what COVID did to us. I mean, some of us, you saw your loved one today, they was in the back of an ambulance tomorrow, you never see them again. Because you remember in the beginning with the cremation and all these things.
Yeah, you couldn't
That's
even,
very traumatizing.
Yeah. Correct.
Friend. So, you know, and I know people that not only maybe experienced it firsthand, but saw neighbors and friends. St. Martin is a very small community. So
yeah.
a lot of things, you never know what's affecting somebody. And it is always important to, you know, keep in touch and show that support where need be. So when it comes to my management side, to sum it up, I believe that I have taken a very inclusive approach across the board. Sometimes it's not good either because when you leave the door open for too much opinions, the end goal, we don't reach the end goal.
Yeah, it would just be a bunch of talk without action.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
However, I must say that all in all, I think that is very important because it's easy for me to say, hey, Andrew, let me buy a red shirt for you. You need a Band-Aid, but maybe you don't need that. You need something different.
Yeah.
So I try to interact as much as possible, not only with my staff, but with the public, find out what their needs and wants are, and just try to make it happen. At the end of the day, you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
But my way of decision making is based on the majority. So if 3 persons are going to benefit here and 200 are going to benefit here,
you go for the 200. Yeah. I got you. Of course, I can't leave you go without asking politics 2024 or late 2023. Whenever it comes, where does Minister Doran stand?
With the people. Stand with the people. First and foremost.
Yes, of course you stand with the people, but National Alliance, you still sticking with the National Alliance?
Why would I not?
I have to
ask you a question?
Yes, you can ask me a question because, you know, nobody asks me questions. I ask you questions.
So this is a different way of managing style already.
You see? Yeah, you tell me.
Why wouldn't I be with the National Alliance?
Well, you're right. You're the highest vote getter from the last election. So, I mean, it wouldn't, yeah.
I am, Andrew, I always say, and this is just straight up, first and foremost, I'm for the people. I'm loyal to the people. The National Alliance has been a party that I've been able to align myself more with based on their track record.
Okay.
Things that they focus on, building homes, infrastructure, schools. That is what National Alliance has always been known for. Now with, let's say now with the newbies, me, Minister Irion, other young candidates, new candidates, not only young, but new.
Yeah.
Let's not tie it to age.
Yeah.
New candidates.
Yeah.
We have ideas about development and forward movement as well. So you need a mix.
Okay.
You need a mix because in order for us to sustain ourselves, we have to be able to have the funds and secure the finances to sustain ourselves. And I must take my hat off to the Ministry of Finance for all the different financial statements that we were able to bring up to date. I mean, we walk in, Andrew, you could stay here, make your jokes every week, but you know what? The facts don't lie.
Yeah.
That is something, and I said it, and I'll say it again. The truth, the facts can't change. A lie could become the truth, but the truth can't become a lie.
Yeah.
You can't twist that. The truth, whatever happened, that is what it is. We've been able to get so much things done. Now that coal is off the table, you hear some people complaining now that, it's a smoke screen, it's this, it's that. It's almost like they wanted things to stay bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean to say? And it's unfortunate because ultimately, Andrew, it's one thing to say you love St. Martin with your mouth, but it's different to show it with your actions. And I ask the people, whenever that time comes, late 23, early 24, 3-4 months from now, whenever the time comes, look at the track record, do your homework. And I think that right now, we have we had such a long span that people would be much more accurate in terms of their decision making. I have faith in that. and I look forward to it whenever it comes.
So you don't really study the, the negative talk out there?
I try to avoid, if I have to study all the negative talk that was geared towards me, I wouldn't even be here. I mean, we've seen a good bit of changes in terms of a particular ministry there.
Yeah.
And that was because of stress and different things that certain persons couldn't handle. And you don't hold it against them.
Yeah.
However, all the attacks and all the things that happened with me over the last 2-3 years, I mean, since the votes or whatever happened, since the last election, I've been trying to different ways to stay motivated. I must say that sometimes you're like, you sit down and you wonder, why all of this? But I know why. It's not because of age, primarily. It's not because of any of those things, but it's because of change.
Yeah.
And when you
Some
set
people
out to
are free.
change and clean up certain things, you will get people upset. They will be on live every Monday talking these things and negativity towards you, but you have to keep motivated. And I hope my staff keep motivated as well, and I will do whatever I have to do to first and foremost serve the people of this country who I ask to trust me with their support. Because these people trust me to be their captain, and we will push forward together. Because I cannot do it alone.
Minister of VROMI, Minister Doran, thank you so much for coming on Late
Thank
Night.
you for having me, man.
Always a pleasure. And of course, yes, hope to see you soon again. I'm sure you'll come again, right?
Definitely. There's
Yeah.
a lot of now the projects are rolling out. I mean, last year was busy with court cases, with this, with that, with all the all that stuff that I try to, make believe and so forth. But now we're making things happen. The projects are rolling out, and I look forward to coming and giving updates as frequently as I can.
All right, watching the Late Night Show, Minister of VROMI. We'll be right back.
You know what to do? Same place, same time.
We're gonna light his cunt up.
Things in life, make him wife, me up like I'm his
hate you now, all because I'm so icy now. Baby boy, no, you like me now, you like me now. Won't you baila, baila cubana, eh. Let me take you harder, let me love you down, da da da. Boy, baila, baila cubana. Let me take you harder, all the way down. Baila, 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 baila cubana, baila, baila cubana, yeah. Baila, baila cubana, baila, baila cubana. Hold him, hold him. I swear if you don't hush your mouth.